Yes, 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 yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to the live. Today we're talking about the two binary emotions that exist, particularly for empaths. This is what we're going to be talking about: love and hate, and what it means for empaths. Love and or hate. So there are mainly two emotional quadrants for empaths, and we're going to be unmasking that today in a deep way, realizing that as an empath, you're either on the frequency of love or hate. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else but love or hate, right? So this is what we're going to go into deeply today. And when you understand this dynamic of love and hate, it becomes easy for you to choose the right path for your own sustainability. So we're going to be exploring today the two emotional quadrants for empaths, how to choose between love and or hate, and how that frees you once and for all from narcissistic abuse. So come on in, come on in, come on in, get comfortable. This is what we're going to be uncovering today. The frequency of love versus hate for empaths, knowing that even if you don't trust in anything that is binary, there's just two binary emotions, love and or hate. And today we're going to talk about these two emotions and their utility for empaths. Hey, the biggest, how you doing? This is what we're going to be talking about, uncovering today: how you free yourself from these, or how you choose the right path, which is love, or the path that ascends you, which is love. And they're just two emotions, love and hate. And we're going to talk about how love and or hate can entrap or free the empath from the clutches of narcissistic abuse. So come on in. That's what we're going to be uncovering today. Very excited to talk about this with you, and looking forward to uncovering this where we're talking strictly about love or hate. Love or hate being the only primary emotions that are available. Everything falls neatly under love or hate. Everything falls neatly under love or hate. So come on in as we talk about love or hate, right? Let's get FICO with it. So hopefully you're having a very good Wednesday. And I want to be clear today, we're going to be talking about love and or hate. And I'm going to speak for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we open it up for questions and discussion. But to start with, I'm Dr. Nana Gyesie, the shamanic leadership guide here at Inner Mileage Coaching. And if I can be of help to you, or you need some more information, just feel free to book a free session on my website, innermileage.com. But today we're going to transcend conventional self-help and spiritual discourse. Because here's a radical truth. Every emotion can be collapsed into one or two sections. And those sections or quadrants are love or hate. So you can talk about frustration, joy, appreciation. They all fall under these quadrants of love or hate. And I have to say, if for anyone who wants to be in the video, just wait about 10 to 15 minutes and you get a chance to share or ask a question. But as I said, every emotion can be reduced into love or hate. Every emotion. And this binary framework that we're speaking about is not designed to be, or love or fear, it's the same thing. It's not designed to be reductionist, right? This is about liberating the fact of the matter. So for an empath, this realization is really critical because your sensitivity makes you prone to emotional overwhelm, psychic drainage, and karmic entanglements. And today, I will show you why this categorization is supported by academic psychology, neuroscience, and even spiritual insight, and why mastery of love and hate accelerates your ascension. So, what we're talking today is about the two emotions that exist, love or hate, and how your mastery of love and or hate accelerates your ascension. Does that make sense? So here I want to start with talking about the architecture of emotions. And I'm going to borrow from the psychological framework. There's research done by a researcher called Paul Ekman. And Paul Ekman found that The basic emotions that exist are anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise, right? And all these emotions show a spectrum, but ultimately, all these emotions resolve into attraction or aversion. Or another way to say it is all these emotions generate the need to approach or be approachable or to withdraw or to isolate. And these are fundamental neuropsychological poles. Now, when we go even further, because I'm proving to you that there's only love or hate, right? Another researcher called Pransky identified 7 primary emotional systems. 3 are positive, and the 3 positive emotions are seeking, care, and play. And the negative emotions are rage, fear, panic, and lust, right? So these circuits originate in the subcortical ancient structures of your mind, emphasizing that even at the biological level, we are wired for the love or hate continuum. Then when we go even further, now, first of all, am I making sense? Is this connecting with you? Because if it's not, just let me know, right? Hi, Ellie. Hi, Tresha. Wagwan. Hi, Kat. Hi, Retrogo. Let me know if this is connected with you. We're talking about how mastery of love and hate accelerates ascension for an empath. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you. So I want to keep going. Thank you, Miss Wonder Woman. Thank you. In from a spiritual perspective, and here I'm going to borrow from the Buddhist framework because I'm very familiar with the Buddhist framework. In the Buddhist framework, all mental defilements, thank you, Hope for Health, are reduced to 3 roots. And the roots are greed, hatred, and delusion. And of course, the opposite of greed, hatred, and delusion ascend you. So even joy or guilt in Buddhist psychology are known as conditioned mental states that are linked to clinging onto your trauma or your pleasures and rejecting what might be good for you. Now, when we go into the Hermetic law, which I love very much, or Hermetic principles, the principle of polarity states that everything is dual, everything has a pole, and love and hate are degrees of the same energy. Love and hate are degrees of the same energy, and at the extremes they meet. Therefore, the empath must learn how to transmute hate into love via conscious vibrational calibration. And if this sounds like you, type transform or get in touch with me offline so we can have a session and go deeper into what's happening to you. Now, I want to borrow from the tree of life in the Kabbalah. And in the tree of life, this same principles appear. This love or hate. Love is known as chesed, or mercy or loving kindness. Chesed. And Gevura is known as severity or judgment. They form an axis. And all emotional states in the Kabbalah emerge as an interplay between these sephirot, this chesed and Gevura. And the empath's journey is to harmonize the forces of love and hate, not to eliminate judgment or hate, but to integrate hate into love. You see, it's not about bypassing your hate, right? But it's about understanding that it exists so you can transmute it. Similarly, you may be thinking, well, okay, fine, this is normal for all human beings, but what does this mean for empaths? Well, let me go into detail. So a few things make an empath different from the average person. The first is that the empath has very active mirror neurons. And those mirror neurons create empathic embodiment. In other words, empaths have the ability to feel into other people's emotions, unlike the average person. And that's because the empath have very active mirror neurons. Then when you go into polyvagal theory by Stephen Porges, your vagus nerve is the nerve connecting your neck down into all the other glands. Empaths are very connected to the vagal nerve, and this connection amplifies sensitivity to subtle emotional cues and increased somatic absorption of other people's moods. Now, when you get into energy, for example, in Tantra, the empath has a very active heart chakra, which creates a wide field of reception or love. And the wounded empath may be spreading this to everybody, which is why it's very easy for the wounded empath to get hurt. The healed empath is very discerning in how they spread this energy. They have love for all, but you can only qualify to have access to this love by proving that you are also empathic in nature. Now, when we go even more ancient, maybe here we're going to Thoth and Atlantis. In Atlantean philosophy, empaths are described as polar beings. And these polar beings are tasked with harmonizing the energies of the polarities I've talked about, love or hate, on behalf of the collective consciousness. You see? So, thank you so much, Eve. And I'm glad you're here. When we get into love, let's deconstruct love a little bit. Love, and I'm going to talk about some of the components of love. According to research done at University of California, Davis, by a gentleman called Robert Ebens, gratitude interventions. So if you're not in a good mood and you just started to say, thank you, I can breathe. Thank you, I can move my fingers. Gratitude, right? And May Manjos, that's exactly it. And thank you, Eve. Gratitude reduces your stress hormone, cortisol, by 25% and increases dopamine, the feel-good hormone, also by 25%. So neurochemically, anytime you practice gratitude as an empath, it moves you squarely into the quadrant of love. Do you see what I'm saying? Similarly, when you come into the Buddhist framework, here I'm talking about the deconstruction of love. In Buddhism, love, you may use the word contentment, is not about being passive, right? Exactly, and May. It is a radical acceptance of conditions as they are. Because if you cannot change a condition, you accept it. And when you accept it, you free mental energy for you to be present. And when you are present, you're in awareness. That is love. And that awareness, exactly, appreciation is now. That awareness leads to joy. Like right now, I am aware that it's 9:11 a.m. Pacific time in Seattle, where I am. And my feet is on the ground. And I am right here doing a live on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And I'm feeling so joyful that I get to share this with you, and you in your kindness get to receive it. That brings me joy in the now. And that joy is love. And it's from that love that I can give my heart to you in the same way you're giving your heart to all of us in this collective. You see, that is joy known as mudita in the Buddha Dharma, mudita. Then when we go into the Sufis, right? In the Sufis, in the Sufi cosmology, this term Rida or Rida, right? There can only be one, greetings, defines and signifies divine contentment, which is another way to look at it is to surrender to the perfect will within you. And the empath's cultivation of gratitude and contentment is not indulgence, but alignment with divine flow, something that a narcissist cannot do because the narcissist lives in a place of permanent discontent, retrograde, permanent discontent, live free, permanent discontent, RS. And so the narcissist can only reach you if they can activate and trigger discontent in you. And when you refuse to have discontent activated in you, the narcissist cannot reach you. So think about it this way. The best protection you have from a narcissist is not just cutting them off and going no contact. It is that you no longer acquiesce to anything that activates hate. And as long as you don't activate hate in you, the narcissist has no entry point. Now, when we go into esotericism, contentment and joy are analogous to the alchemical gold that emerges when lead, which are negative emotions, is purified through fire. Am I making sense, Instagram? You got to tell me if I'm making sense to you. Somebody tell me, right? Am I making sense, TikTok? Am I making sense, YouTube? Now I want to talk about hate a little bit. right? Retrograde, that's exactly. Bernadette, welcome, right? So I want to talk a little bit about the anatomy of hate. Thank you, Earthlines. So hate is the denser form of love. I'm so glad Sleep Cuisine. And thank you, Will Shepherd. Thank you, Cheza. Thank you, Just Chrissy. Thank you, Hope for Health. Hate produces a very dense bioenergetic signature, which is actually measurable by MRI or through this thing called a heart rate variability, or even Kellyan photography. I'm so glad you're shifting, Christy.